most miserable time every 4 years. That's right, folks. I know you're all excited about election time. It really is the worst time. And I don't want to talk about politics at all, y'all, but it is in the news. But I just want to say this. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but whenever I hear people talk about politics, either side, all I'm hearing is people say, "Nuh-uh." And I mean that seriously. Whatever, it doesn't matter. People might have valid points. People might be pointing out that someone else did absolutely lie or something, but I still just hear, "Nuh-uh, nuh-uh." That's all it is to me. It's someone saying, "Nuh-uh, he didn't say that. He said this, nuh-uh." So guys, maybe we could make this a hashtag. How do you spell nuh-uh? And also, did you guys grow up with that? I don't know, people grew up with nuh-uh, but when I was a kid, there was a added to it when you were a certain age. You were nuh-uh. The I don't know where it came from, but it was effective. Okay, I'll just say a couple more things about politics. I mean, I hate it. And I really think that the troll world we live in, the American, whatever this era is, I think maybe the only reason we're here is like that we have just now, as a culture, just now reached the actual effects of growing up with divorce and freedom, essentially. And I'm not a prude or moralistic or religious person saying we should be living with the family unit matters, but I am saying this could be the result of it. Like the amount that people don't care or want to, troll or stir the pot for no reason just because to get a reaction. It could be, we could just be like, this is the result of not having anyone you're accountable to after a few generations. And maybe it doesn't happen for a while, Like we're not the first generation to have grown up with divorce and shit. But maybe after a certain amount of generations, like the amount of apathy and not giving a shit outweighs everything else, and that's where you get this beautiful America with Kesha and Trump. Who knows? I don't know. It is, yeah. Isn't it called the Great American Experiment? Like, this is an experiment, right? Like, we are just figuring out the results of the experiment, which was what happens when you only are accountable to yourself and you are trying to win over everyone else. And this is the results, I guess. Okay, the last thing I'll say about this fucking election shit, I fucking hate it. You guys know this. I hate it so much. I hate anyone who gives a shit. You're just joking. Because nothing has ever changed in your life based on any of these votings or these people that you will never ever meet or see. Nothing has changed for you personally. And I think it's crazy that we all are, it's almost like this, any election season is like we are watching a TV show that we are making. Like we're waiting for the results of something we chose. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy. We're just watching ourselves to go, what did we choose? That's how much we need entertainment. We are just creating our own life TV show to watch. Okay, let's get away from this shit. I hate it. So on my other sites, guys, I've been telling you I have a new site that's doing much better than anything else I've ever done, which is true. But I'll say this, though. I've learned about the YouTube analytics and making money on there, at least in my case, because it's all different, view count versus time watch, all that shit. It's all very different. But for me, I've gotten 1 million views on this YouTube page, and I've made $30 for that. So that tells you something. And again, a view is like your short might be getting a view, and that gets a zillion views, and that means nothing because it was 1 minute long, so you're not monetizing that much. But anyways, the point is this. Technically, this podcast, This World Blows, has made more money than my new site. And This World Blows, this podcast currently, I believe, has 15 listeners at best. So that's pretty interesting. And sad. I thought it would make a little more from maybe it's just the idea of 1 million sounds big, but I thought like I'll get some money for that, right? I'm saying $30. So yikes. So I guess that will not be my new career, because that is, I don't know how anyone is making money do that. I guess Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I do. Actually, I did work in this YouTube, not YouTube, but I worked for a company that worked with YouTube for the last year. So I do actually know how they make money, and that's they have to. Your videos have to be over 8 minutes. There's like certain limit, certain like barriers that are like this is where the big money starts. So if you'll notice any commentator video or anything on YouTube, it's either 8 minutes or it's over 20 minutes because these are the two breaking points where you make the most money. And so if you make like I make 5-minute videos, you're just not getting that many ads. And that's sad because you guys know all I want is advertisement. I want the ads. I mean, everyone's probably noticed this if you look at YouTube at all. Like over the last few years, I mean, the clickbaity element of thumbnails, it is kind of funny, but it's also it's the worst looking thing I've ever seen. Like thumbnails on YouTube are now like how 2000s movie posters used to be, like the absurd bad Photoshop where they're trying to get every character and every concept in to a poster to tell you the entire movie. Or they're like replacing the faces because they never actually did a photo shoot for the cover and they just started doing this with bad photoshopping and morphing people's bodies. It was happening in the 2000s big time on movie covers or posters. I don't know how, whatever, movie art was like so bad. And that's what thumbnails are now. It's like they use AI generative stuff to like try to literally fit in like, oh, this building doesn't fit in, but we want to show that they're going to go into this building. So it like changes the size of things, morphs everything, makes the colors pop. I mean, you guys have seen all these thumbnails that have people like crying with red eyes that are not real. It's all that same stuff. It's full clickbait. And I don't mind it other than it's getting to look so bad that it's reminding me of those crappy movies or movies that just had that kind of art now, and I couldn't believe it. I remember going to Blockbuster and looking at movie art and not, I mean, I was pretty young then. This is when there was Blockbuster, but I remember like looking at it and being like, I can't believe this is what they would do. Like this is how they would do it. And I guess they still do, but like Photoshop is, they're just, people are better at it now and they're more aware of those things. But it's bad. Okay, so in my other, well, here's the other thing. On my other site, I tried to start doing a podcast. I did one episode and then it was just the same as this. And again, I realized like this podcast has actually made more money than that. So maybe I'll just stick on here. But I do need to monetize somehow, you guys. I need to make money. I currently don't have a job, and you know, it just seems like a smart thing to become the next Mr. Beast. Seems like an easy step for me. Become the new worst person. But in my other, in the episode, the one podcast episode I made for my new channel, I talked about this. But I must bring it to you guys because this is so great. So Weird Al, the video for Fat Weird Al, I didn't realize this, but apparently it is a shot-for-shot remake of the Michael Jackson Bad video, which is incredibly funny. If you go back and watch it, they've put it side by side online. And it's amazing how much work that would have taken to make this shot for shot. And it's also the biggest diss you could do to Michael Jackson to just replicate what he's doing. And that is pointing out how dumb he is. So big ups to Weird Al. I mean, it was funny before that, but go back and watch it now and you'll give him some extra credit. Or maybe you guys already knew that and I didn't. But I was very impressed by that type of mockery in that era. Oh yeah, I saw this. I saw some old, I don't know how to say this, I guess photos of cowboys, photos in the Wild West. I started watching some documentary and then I got taken down. I don't know, I was watching something, I don't even remember what it was, really. I just remembered I took this away, that there are these literal, cowboys that were like covered in dirt, have never taken a shower in their life, and they had photos of themselves. Oh, this is what it was. It was like iron etching or some type of early weird photography. And I was seeing these like little, they're like tiny, they're like 2-inch photos, but they're like etched onto metal or something. But it was these cowboys and Western people, and it was interesting because they said people would have these made and then carry them with them. And I thought, how bizarre that even in the Wild West, even bad guys in the Wild West were so vain that they wanted a selfie. They wanted a photo of themselves. it's weird. Like, you think of that as a new thing, that people are so self-obsessed, but it's like, no, even back then, if someone can get a photo of themselves, they loved it. People love themselves. It's crazy. Like, when mirrors first came out, people were probably just walking around holding mirrors, looking at their own face. That was probably, that was like the phone of their era, where people were complaining, like, everyone's always looking down at their mirror instead of looking up at the world, the real world that's out in front of you. You're all obsessed with the mirror. I was thinking of this the other day, too. How is Tyler Perry allowed to do what he does? Because isn't he just straight up copying Eddie Murphy and the Nutty Professor by dressing up as multiple characters and playing them? And isn't that just something someone else did? I don't understand why he's allowed to do that. And like Martin Lawrence did. Also, I mean, this thing of this idea of like Hollywood wants to put black men in women's dresses. I mean, that could be true, or it could be true that Hollywood just copies something that works. So the first person that does it, like Eddie Murphy, then they go, Martin, anyone can do it. It could be even the people themselves copying them. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it might not be a conspiracy as much as it's laziness on writers and networks and studios' behalf, just going with something they know will work. Because here's what's sick, it does work. Tyler Perry's still making movies. Eddie Murphy could have just kept making movies where he dresses up in fat and women's suits. He just chose to stop. It's not like it stopped working. People apparently love this idea. It's apparently incredibly funny still. So I don't get it, though. I don't understand the idea of people liking Tyler Perry. I guess I never understood it. I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I can't remember if I've talked about this on the podcast. I feel like I've started to and then not, or maybe it's been an episode that got deleted. I don't know. I've had a couple of misfires with episodes. I did one the other day, actually, and the mic was not correct, so I was getting a bunch of room noise, so it was a complete waste, which is very annoying. But yeah, so I don't know if I've talked about this. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But the movie Windy City Heat from the year, I believe, 2001 or 2000. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, heard about it. Or, like, I might have heard about this name before, but I didn't know about this until very recently somehow, but it's become my new obsession. And it's a movie where, it's a documentary where a guy doesn't know he's being tricked. He thinks he's filming an action movie, but he's actually being made fun of the entire time. And it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it is bizarre and incredible. And Don Barris is the comedian who made it, him and Jimmy Kimmel and Bobcat Goldthwait. There's a bunch of people that I didn't know they were kind of a crew, and I didn't really know much about these people, but they put this movie out in 2000 and it aired like 2 times on Comedy Central, and people didn't get it, so it went away. But it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and then it spun off into a podcast also for the 3 main characters, because they've been messing with this guy Perry Caravello for literally decades. So like this guy, it's just like, it's kind of their friend, kind of just a weirdo that doesn't understand what's going on. And some people could, you could argue this is cruelty, but either way, it's very funny. And while out here is when I discovered this movie and discovered the podcast and got really obsessed with them. And at some point via my new website, I contacted Don Barris because he's at the Comedy Store every night. He closes the Comedy Store every night, and I contacted him and asked him if he wanted to be a part of one of my new stories. And he said, "Come meet me at the Comedy Store on this night." So I did. I went to the Comedy Store. He pulls up, almost wrecks into a car. I think he was quite drunk or stoned. Almost wrecks into a car. Doesn't notice it. Walks out. I wave to him. And Don Barris is kind of he's funny. He's a weird guy though, so you never know if he's like making fun of you or if he's being sincere. He's an interesting cat. But anyways, he pulls me through the Comedy Store kitchen into the back, like comedian's patio. But he's not really talking to me. He's like, "Just come with me, come with me." And then we're back there. He's talking to other people. We're sitting there. I'm just sitting there for like 15 minutes. No one's talking to me. I'm like, this is so awkward. I want to leave now. And I'm like, I don't know if he's making fun of me or if he's unaware that this is weird to do. Who knows? Because he was very stoned. He did keep puffing his vape. And so we're back there for a while, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to get out of here now. This is so weird. Because all the other comedians, I'm sure, are aware what's going on that I'm not aware of. They know Don, and he's talking to them, and it's like, no one's talking to me. It's like, I'm just the odd man out. This sucks. Eventually, Don has to go on stage, so I'm like, okay, now I can get out. So I start to sneak off, and he goes, hey, wait, where are you going? Come on, I'm going on stage. And then we go into one of the, showrooms in the Comedy Store. There's probably like 5 to 7 people in there. It's late night. This is like he closes the Comedy Store every night. So there's no one in there. And he does this every night. And so I go sit down, and then he immediately gets into a altercation with someone, and it was the other guy's fault. The other guy was being weird, but it got like physical, and it was so funny. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was actually like the most exciting thing I've seen in comedy in a long time, and I loved it. I was like, this is my dream, is to be here witnessing true chaos because of Don Barris. And but eventually I did sneak out of the show because I wasn't going to stay and see what he wanted to do afterwards. I don't mean it in a sexual way. I didn't want to stay until 2 a.m. and go to whatever diner or whatever he's going to take. I knew he was going to take me on a ride somewhere for some reason. So I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll come back another time. Still haven't gone back, but I do, not because I want to, but I've been busy, okay, guys? I've been busy. But that was my Don Barris Comedy Store story. I now know what the kitchen and the patio looks like. Pretty tight, guys. Pretty cool stuff going on over here. I'm meeting people. They're not helping me in any way, but I'm getting interesting stories. So that's good. Also, let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about Fousey. I don't know if you guys know Fousey Tube. He's this fucking piece of shit loser. He started off as a YouTube prankster, was faking his pranks. He's one of those guys that keeps freaking out online and then getting more famous for freaking out, basically. And as he calls it, he crashes out. This is one of those new kid terms that I want to fucking... If I see a kid saying that, I'll kick you in the fucking head. Yo, bro, he's crashing out. Yo, bet, he's crashing out. On fleek. Riz. Sus. Mid. No cap. All these terms are so fully stupid. And if you use them, you are a fake person because they didn't exist a few years ago. So if you're saying this ever, there was a first time in which you said it, you chose to say it as an adult, you chose to say Riz or fire, you thought about it, you chose to say it. You are a loser. And Fousey's a loser. So he says all these new terms, and he's 34, and he's always, quote-unquote, crashing out. And, I don't like any of these influencers. I mean, these people, actually, these streamer pieces of shit kick people, are worse than influencers. I thought influencers were obnoxious people, but influencers are doing things that, let's just say, they're trying to get you to like them. Whereas these streamer kids, the people that do like live streaming, like Johnny Somali, and go to places and cause havoc, they're doing things to make people mad to get attention. So it is the worst of the worst, lowest of the low trash people. Jack Doherty, all these little rat fuckers, Neon. I mean, if you don't know any of these names, then you're doing the right thing. You shouldn't. I spend all my time online, so now I'm starting to absorb these Kick streamers, and Kick is another website where these bad people go and do criminal things because you can get away with a lot more on there. But I have gotten sucked into watching Fousey Tube freak out all the time because he's one of these pieces of shit that is copying Kanye West's playbook of pretending to be mentally ill when you're just an asshole. And it's so embarrassing, these people that do this. I mean, it's embarrassing that Kanye does it, but it's embarrassing that people see that playbook and go, oh, if I just act manic and I get myself worked up into a manic state, because anyone can do that, then people, and I say outlandish things, and then the next day I take it back or I switch it up. I say that was the manic me. I'm a genius. Kill these people. Shoot them in the head. I call for the death of Kanye West tonight, and it's not because of any anti. It's not because I'm a woke person and am offended by what he's saying. He's stupid. Kill the stupid people. Kill them off. I thought about this last night. It's when you have if anyone out there has a couple kids, they're of different ages, there'll be a point in which the older one starts to go to the younger one, no matter what they say, and they just treat them as dumb. They go, oh, you didn't know that? Because the normal primal mind dislikes stupidity and wants to kill it. And I'm not saying that's good, and we should teach our kids not to be mean to their younger siblings, but I'm saying the untrained, the primal mind wants to push the stupid thing off the cliff. And that is, in some respects, I'm saying now, is right. I'm saying we should be killing off stupidity. That's what nature does. That's what literally Darwinism is killing off what cannot get through it. And instead, we keep people like Fousey Tube alive, and Kanye. Don't kill him. It's not even like a ceremonial, like we should make a big deal of it. Just quickly kill them. It's not hard to do. I'm so tired of this country not having the guts to kill people the way, I mean, this country, there's mass killers killing many people, but no one has the guts to kill those who should die. It's insane. I'm so depressed that this country does not have any guts. Like, when was the last time someone died and then the crowd applauded and cheered? That's what we need for unity as a country. That literally might unify the country, is if someone kills Jack Doherty and Neon and these kick streamers, because I think all sides can agree that would be good news for everyone. We don't need these little kids doing this. We don't need these fire sus Riz mid kids doing this. Okay, what else is going on? Been thinking about this. I mean, I might have talked about this before too, because this seems something I would talk about. But courtroom sketch artists, what is this? How could we still live in a time period where someone has to draw someone to have an image of them? It's the only job it's the only place in the world, the only facility that has drawings of people instead of photos. When you're talking about legal, you'd think you'd want photos very specifically, because this is supposed to be litigious and up to no one's opinion. But the artists get to kind of draw angry expressions, and they're not drawing a moment, they're drawing an amalgamation of the entire scene. So it's like, that seems like the most warped thing in the world to represent what's going on in a courtroom. And they show that on the news, and they explain like, oh, this person was acting like this, and they show him with angry drawn eyebrows. And it's like, show me a photo. This is crazy. Whatever law there was about photography in the courtroom, causing some distress or distraction, you cannot tell me someone drawing with crayons is not causing a distraction. That's insane to hear, like, oh, I dropped my red crayon, or markers just squeaking like, it's crazy. We need to end this. What kind of union does courtroom sketch artists have? Like, I don't understand how it could remotely still be a thing. Doesn't make sense, guys. Does not make sense. And we have to stop it. Okay, that's it. I gotta run. Guys, election is, I guess, tomorrow? I don't know when this will be up, but all I'm saying is, I don't give a shit. And I can't wait till everyone's talking about the next one thing in the news that everyone will repeat. Move on to the next one. Because we all know this. It's only going to be one topic at a time. Because America's too fucking stupid to talk about two things at once. So let's talk about OceanGate. Alright. That's it. Episode 171 of This World Blows with your host, Asher Rogers. You guys, share this shit. Help me monetize. Jesus Christ. Give me your goddamn money. Make me the next Fousey Tube.
It's the most wonderful time of